Hello, and greetings. This is Dr. Ardeshir Mehran for our Thursday session, which is about depressed leaders. Welcome. And I'm joining you from my office in Northern California. It's a beautiful fall weather here. Right outside my window, there are birds, different animals, and trees, and flowers are still blooming. And I'm happy to be with you here to talk about a topic that is, we all know about it, depression, and especially in depression, about leaders and how to reverse depression and bring depression back. Actually, let me turn my camera so you can see me. So, and as you can see, I'm very excited about this topic. How to turn the depression back as a leader, which all eyes are on you. The session will be about 30 minutes, and I will go through it rather efficiently to make sure we end at 30 minutes, and so you will have the rest of your day available to you. One of the strange things about LinkedIn Live, I love it. It's very easy to use, but I don't see you. So it almost feels like a one-way mirror. You see me, but I do not see you. So it's hard to gauge the audience interaction and interest. So the only way that I know about where you are and how my information resonates with you is about if you put information in comments. So any questions, any comments you have, please put it in the chat. Actually, let me send a comment, make sure it gets to you. And if there are questions that they are sensitive and private in nature, write me directly. You have my contact from LinkedIn, and I'll do my best to respond to them. I will respond to them. And also, the information I share with you today, it's for your information, for your education. Do not make any changes to your treatment plan. If you're in therapy, your medication, talk to your doctor first. And there will be lots of resources. They are available on my website. And I share with you how to go to my website as we get to the right point to access that information for your further education. The session today about depressed leader is the third in a series. Every 2 weeks, I'll be doing a session. The first one was early signs of depression. The one after that was depressed husband, depressed man. This one is about depressed leader. 2 weeks from now, there will be a session about when a woman is depressed. There are significant differences in men and women depression. The one after that is when a loved one is depressed. Depression is as a core, but there will be different variation of conversation around that. So let's get started. And let's see. Okay. So what is the essence of the call today? If there's one message that I would like you to remember from our session today, people say that, hey, what was that session with Dr. Mehran all about? The message is that depression, we think about as an illness, an immovable illness. Depression actually is a wake-up call. Depression, it means, is a byproduct of living an unfulfilled life. So we tend to think that I'm depressed, therefore I'm having a bad life, I feel miserable. It's the other way around. I'm living an unfulfilled, unhappy life, therefore I'm depressed. Depression is a nudge to you, to those who are depressed, to restore your vitality, your power, your inner truth that they've been delayed for too long. And we can use depression to live, love, and lead better. Depression, actually, there's a structure to that. We can channel it versus trying to numb it to make it go away. So a bit about me. I had no idea that I'll be doing this topic. That topic of depression becomes my life's project. I started to look at the topic of depression when I was around teenagers, and I saw mom and dad, my family, depression, anxiety, and people, they were doing their own daily events, taking care of us. But mom and dad, they were very depressed. They're very unhappy. And there's a look to depression. You probably know it. And I became obsessed with two questions. What is depression? And why does it take so long to heal depression? People who've been to therapy, they notice that depression takes a long time to heal, and it will come back. In most cases, will come back again. I was curious about why, actually obsessed about it, why it comes back. And then part of that, I went on a long-term pursuit, and it's still going on, to get my doctorate from Columbia University and became a depression expert. And most of my career has been in corporate America as an internal psychologist working with leaders in leadership, coaching, business transformation. So I saw leaders over a long span of time. We became colleagues, friends, and traveled with them. So I saw how depression shows up in people's lives. And I'm an author, wrote a best-selling book. It's called, in paperback, You're Not Depressed, You're Unfinished, which the title says it all, that the depression is about a life not fully lived. Depression is about life, not about an illness. And as part of my research, over 30 years, I discovered there's a structure. There's a structure to depression. Once you know it, you can reverse engineer it. My mission these days to share with anybody who listens, people in business, in schools, in families, social media, how to turn depression as fuel for live a better, fuller life. That's my focus. So why leaders? What leadership and depression have in common? I want to use the analogy of a three-legged thoroughbred horse. So I used to ride, and thoroughbred horses are magnificent. They're beautiful. They intimidate other horses. They have so much energy, so much alpha energy. And when I think about the leader who is depressed, that leader, she or he, they think about, I'm doing great. I'm the best of my breed. I'm pushing forward. What I see is a leader who's actually is compromised. They haven't reached their 100% potential. There's so much energy, so much vitality to them. They don't see it because they are depressed. And part of that, I want to bring different message to them. A while ago, a business leader, a man who is an attorney, called me. He's been reading my social media posts on LinkedIn, and finished reading my book and called me, says, Dr. Mehran, I want to work with you. I'm depressed. I've been depressed for so long as I remember growing up, and I'm not feeling well. I know there's a struggle for myself, for my family. My wife complains about it, and I want to work with you. And I asked him a number of questions, and he seemed like an ideal client. And I said, of course, I'd be more than happy to take you on as a client. When would you like to start? He said, I will reach out to you at the end of September this year. Now is in the middle of February this year. I asked him, so tell me what happens in all these other months. He had a long list of very justifiable reasons. Restructuring was happening. He had to hire new people for his team, vacations, his son's graduating from high school, etc., etc. That is actually very common. Almost every time, about a third of people who reach out to me, that's the same story. There's a quality of leaders who are depressed that goes like this. I listen actually for that. They prioritize everything outside, and they are last. They use the language of someday, somehow. There's a waiting for them. There's a waiting that I will get to this when, and that when goes on and on. What they don't realize, and I want you to consider as colleagues joining this call, depression is like an asset in the pipeline of a house. When you're depressed, you may be waiting, but you're being compromised. Your health, Your nervous system, your gut, your cardiovascular, your physical and mental and spiritual health is being compromised. You don't even know it. Why? This is the curse of resiliency, a thoroughbred horse. When a leader is depressed, they don't collapse. They overfunction. They push through. They do very well, actually, in the business world, or in the professional world. They get things done as a way to distract themselves from their inner unhappiness. So it's like a horse that never stops. There's another quality to the business leaders. They are emotionally starved. What does it mean? When a leader is depressed, a leader, just like a thoroughbred horse, they usually have been in charge. When you talk with them, since the time that they remember a child, or they are they've been teenagers, they've been the role model. They've been the one who pushed through. They're the one who got good grades. They went up the ladder in school, in corporate environment, or business world, or academic world. And they never stop, and they never stop to reflect about what they want. So when I see them or I work with them, the thing that they are most craving is an opportunity to exhale, not to do things. They don't need a strategy. They want to be witness for them to say, what is going on with me? Why am I feeling this way? Why this feeling lasts for so long? They're looking for a space to feel again. One of the things that I want you to consider, and it's very top of mind for me, leaders who are depressed do not respond well to action plan. They don't need another to-do list. What they need is a feeling plan. The issue for leaders is their sense of feeling, internal feeling, has been compromised. I will show you at the end a script about how to bring feeling first before we move to action. Leaders who are depressed, they have a high pain tolerance. The way I know this with the leaders I work with, I travel with them. Usually I bug them and tell them, open your purse, your briefcase, let me know what's in it. They're always pain. Then the painkiller medicine, whether Advil, Tylenol, or other things. And they complain about gastrointestinal complication, leaky gut. For women, predominantly. For men, is chest, cardiovascular, all sort of physical pain, all the way to migraine. Pain, I have a number of posts on LinkedIn, is about another version of emotions being suppressed and expressing that. The other aspects, leaders who are depressed, there's isolation and loneliness that they are not aware, but they feel it. Harvard Business Review earlier this year had a report of the US CEOs. The survey indicated that up to 50%, 50% of the CEOs report being lonely. This is not lonely at the top. This is lonely as a lifestyle. Lonely is the breeding ground of depression. So part of that, we will talk about what does it mean to be at the top of your game, a role model in a room of admirers, but yet feeling lonely. So let me go. Let me see, there's a question here. Wonderful. There's such a familiar reason why coaching needs to be done later. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for those comments. So let me go. So I want to go to the science. What is depression? Depression, the opposite of depression is fulfillment, not happiness. This is important. And depression is an adaptive response to a life lived unfulfilled. Is an adaptive response. Actually, is a good response is when we do that as a way that our life sucks, is unbearable, and is not feeling right for us, is an adaptive response. And feels as prolonged disconnection. We disconnect from life, our dreams, our hope, and we feel a sense of loss and grieving. People who are depressed, And if you're on this call feeling depression, there's a pain. There's a pain to depression. It's hard to describe, hard to quantify, and how to express it. But you know it. The pain comes from here. It's all coming back that disconnected. And depression shows up as numbness, as for us to get by, as anger. Anger actually is the important part of depression. Agitation, you feel restless and you feel broken. This is very qualitative. People experience depression this way. So now I want to show you the structure of depression. There's a 3-layer story to depression. And the way it works, think about a waterfall. Life is supposed to be fulfilling, loving, and affirmative for us. That usually does not happen. That's for textbooks and poetry books. Life always brings challenges, traumas, hurt, heartbreaks, difficulty in childhood with family, with bosses, with partners, loved ones, and so on. When we end up living in pain and unfulfilled life, which is the top of the waterfall, the next things happen. Our response to pain and unfulfilled life is to bring in adaptive coping mechanism. There's 4 of them. In the next 2 slides, I will talk about what those are. Why? Because we want to numb the pain about what we cannot change, what we need to put up with. The third one, this is where depression symptoms show up, is that come up is a way for us to go upstream. So depression symptoms really is an indication, alarm clock, and says, hey, you, Ardeshir, go up there and change the life that has been unfulfilling for you for so long. So think about these 3 layers, and I'm going to start from the bottom, come up, and tell you what it is. So I know there are clinicians, doctors, and practitioners on this call. If you've gone to therapy, if you've gone to a doctor recently, there's a survey is called, and you can Google it, it's called PHQ-9, Patient Health Questionnaire, which is developed a standard survey by American Psychiatric Association, 9 items to measure the existence of depression. It's almost like canary in the coal mine. Those are questions about your appetite, your interest, your energy level, your concentration, as well as death and suicide. Having used this instrument on myself, doctors used it when they were diagnosing me, and also I've used it in my work. Business, high-achieving leaders, these items mean nothing to them. Because in the life of a business leader, high-achieving, high-functioning leader is go, go, go. So their energy, their attention, their libido and so on goes up and down. So these questions, I've been heard and I've been told, they feel frivolous. They feel there's something else going on with me. So I use these questions as a signal there's something going on. It's the bottom of the waterfall. What you want to pay attention to is about how you are coping with a life that is not feeling right for you, that it feels punishing for you. There's 4 adaptive coping mechanisms. I call them 4Ds, and I will write more about these 4 areas. And I see one or multiple of them in almost everybody who's depressed. It's about deprivation, disconnection, denying, and distraction. Deprivation is when we feel depressed and we feel the life we want to have, we cannot have. We start to feel emotionally dormant, physical, spiritual, relational, that we feel deprived. There's a sense of deprivation comes in. That's where the symptom of depression comes in. Another big one, you feel disconnected to our feelings, to our relationship, to our purpose. We just feel numb, feel that there's a life over there, vitality over there, but I'm disconnected from that. It's almost where I'm looking at life from behind the glasses, behind the walls. There's a lot of denying going on, especially I see this in women, in business women. that there's the silencing part of us, whether it's anger, grief, passion, loss, creativity to fit in. No, 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 that's not for me. I cannot do that. I cannot do it right now. And then there's distraction. This is very big right now in our culture, actually, even from teenagers all the way to grandparents. We work a lot. We spend a lot of time on addiction, whether addiction is porn, alcohol, the infidelity, scrolling, daydreaming, perfectionism. These four areas is a way for us to numb ourselves, and this is the breeding ground. That's what leads to depression symptoms. The core part of healing depression, that's what I want you to pay attention to this. All of those, what I mentioned, the symptoms and defense mechanisms, they were a way to contain the life that has been eluding us. The way to get to what we need is to go upstream and start to fulfill our lives. Gabor Mate is one of the leading experts in illness and health in our society, globally, actually. I love this statement by him, which that's what also I believe, and it's about depression isn't a flaw or chemical imbalance. Those happen after we live a life of depression for so long that become habit. Depression is searching. Depression is searching. A deeply felt need for something that is missing in our lives. The question is searching for what? So let me share with you what is searching. You remember I told you about my book, research that I've been doing for 30 plus years, working for many, in hundreds of individuals and secondary research. When people are depressed, you're seeking certain emotional needs that they've been violated, never got exposed to, they've been dismissed, but they never learned about it. These needs are cradle to grave. We all have them. Parents, teachers, mayors, presidents don't give it to us. We're all born to feel these needs in our lives. There's 7 of them. I call them the Bill of Emotional Rights. On my website, on my book, I talk about this all the time, and you see a big banner behind me. These needs, let me describe what those are. And as I'm going through them, just do a self-reflection, see how they resonate with you. You start with the sense of I belong. Think about the leaders being lonely. This is a key part of that. That I feel a reciprocal bond, the sense that I'm seen, I'm held, and I'm loved, and I feel connected. There's somebody, there are people in my life that they see me. I see them, and I feel a sense of deep connection. There's a sense of I'm boundless, that I have an integrated whole body energized. This is not about I have six-pack and doing yoga and Pilates on marathon. I run marathon. This is about I feel I've energized in my body. People who are depressed, they complain about their body parts. Hurt here, my gut, my shoulders, my migraine, but I have a hard time to feel a body integrity. They feel their body whole. Sense of I'm complete. Many people, for a long time, it was me. We are burdened with our past guilt, shame, and the vision that we are not good enough. Going to Brené Brown work, guilt and shame. Guilt is that you did something wrong. Shame is that you are wrong. This is about coming to terms that I'm good. I am good. Everything I want, everything I need, I already have. I matter. This is about you are wanted, you're needed, you're honored in the community, in your business, professional, school, that you feel you belong around the table with others like-minded. I make you're joyfully productive. Everybody's doing something in this world. When you're in flow, that you feel alive, this is about a key part of our emotional needs. A need of I am, that your true voice, conviction, your energy come out to the world and you You share what your beliefs are. Versus you see this, actually, I see this in leaders a lot. What they say and what they think and what they feel are not congruent. They hold back to be right, to fit in, to lead in the deliberate and politically correct way. This is about you being truthful to your inner conviction. And the one I saw, which is very near and dear to my heart, is about feeling your inner calling. Maya Angelou has a beautiful saying, actually is in the flowchart on my wall, that says, there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you, an untold story. So some of the work I do with clients, with leaders, is what is your story? Above and beyond your wonderful role, contribution you make to this world, what is your story, your legacy? Once we know that, we come alive. So people who are depressed, 1, 2, or 3 of these are compromised. In leaders that I work with, and I have surveyed them for a number of years, the first 3, I belong, I'm boundless, and I'm complete, are compromised. That's the foundation to start. So put it to the test. I want to give you some invitations to bring this to work as you go forward. Again, instead of action plan, feeling plan. The first thing is to thaw your adaptive coping mechanism. This is about noticing, paying attention to more than doing. So for example, these are a question variation of this I use with my clients. So feel free to take a snapshot of this screen, and also in this question, customize them to yourself, whether you're using for yourself, for your colleague, for your team member, for your loved one. About deprivation, where in your life do you feel you keep giving, but rarely receiving in return? For disconnection, you can ask, what was the last time you felt deeply alive and present in your body, in a relationship, or in a day? Is about feeling alive. Denying, what emotional qualities do you tend to hide, to silence, or push away? This question actually unnerved many of the leaders I work with, because they realize they don't even know. So allowing time for reflection to respond to that. About distraction, what do you do? What do you search for when you want to avoid something, whether food, phone, alcohol, business, going for a run? What do you do as a substitute about paying attention to? So jam with these questions. There are ways to use this. The heart of the matter is going to the emotional rights. Emotional rights, when tapped and engaged in a right way, can be quite liberating and actually create a sense of ripple effect. With belonging, with a lot of candor, respect, and love, you can ask, what did you last feel a flicker of I'm seen, I'm loved? And what was happening in that moment? How did you feel? Who was in the room? What connection do you crave right now that you feel, that makes you feel better and true at this point? And again, feel free to take a snapshot of this. Going forward, I'm just going to jump at the end to I'm complete. What part of your story needs to be acknowledged, not fixing? What is one small closure step you can take for 5% so that you feel I'm enough this week? So let me bring this back home. So recap, colleagues, if you're here listening, consider seeing depression instead of an illness is a wake-up call for you, for all of us, to step toward living a better, bigger, bolder life. Because depression is a byproduct of a living an unfulfilled life. Depression is a nudge for you to revitalize what's been delayed for so long in your life. And about me, this is the work I do with individuals, with teams, product teams, and what people who work with me, and they, again, you can read a testimonial that my work is surgical and goes to the heart of restoration. I call my work emotional restoration. From the very first session, you will start to see results. And you feel more invigorated, hopeful, and resolute throughout this process. So I hope this resonated with you.